Hello guys, the former Russian president Medvedev became very drunk and very angry. I think both of these states are very common for him and started commenting on new Trump's messages that the ultimatum to Putin will be shortened to 10 or 12 days. And Medvedev started reminding to the president of the United States that Russia is not Iran or Israel. It's a big country, with 9 time zones. But we have a strategy how to defeat this poor, angry land. For example, targeting their airports. And today, Ukrainian and pro-Ukrainian hackers managed to achieve something amazing. Something that I keep reading about, and it's even difficult to comprehend how they managed to do it. They have paralyzed 7,000 servers connected with Russian Aeroflot. Aeroflot is already in great trouble. First of all, the sanctions that destroyed their fleet. Second, strikes of Ukrainian drones on military targets, but the paralysis of skies, which results in thousands of cancelled flights and lots of angry Russian passengers. But now we have destroyed this whole maintenance information system. And what makes it even more interesting, these hackers were working inside Russian Aeroflot systems for a year. They did not hurry to, show their presence and destroy something minor, but they were also collecting information, various conversations, data, and now they are prepared to reveal that in the coming days. According to some estimates, Russia may lose more than $10 million restoring all that is needed for the functioning of Aeroflot, but most importantly, it can take up to 6 months. So let's discuss all of that in the video. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see the defeat and demilitarization of Russia that has actually already started, subscribe and please share these videos to demonstrate your solidarity with Ukraine and to help us fight Russian propaganda that keeps describing this collapsing Frankenstein-like empire as something strong, when in reality everything became pretty understandable to those who can see, to those who can analyze, after the failure of the Blitzkrieg. Neither Putin nor Medvedev could predict this war would last for 3.5 years, and even Donald Trump seems to have understood that Russia is not that strong. Specifically in their economy, and by the way, there are a ton of updates about serious problems in their civilian branch of the economy, and I know Russian trolls keep coming in comments saying like, you keep reporting about that. That is always like a process of a couple of years or a couple of months, but they are on the brink of the collapse. And there are already these huge branches of their life, of their economy that start falling out, and aviation was first of them. A couple of days ago, I've reported to you about serious troubles they have with civilian aviation, that they need to cannibalize aircraft, that they don't have where to get the details. And for example, recently they had an air crash with 48 victims because of a 50-year-old aunt that perhaps was a museum exhibit but not a working vessel. And now there are a lot of airports almost constantly closed in Russia. We have a lot of videos, we have a lot of photos. I actually feel very weird when lots of Russians say like, we're not guilty in this war. Why do we suffer? Why do we have to wait in the airports? I am sorry, waiting in the airports is not something that we experience on a daily basis. And I guess they should have started this process of accepting and understanding. If you want war, you will definitely experience it and taste it. Ukrainians are hiding in bomb shelters. Ukrainians are living under attacks. Lots of us are in the Ukrainian armed forces. There are huge sums of money that we invest in our defense. People donate a lot. Airports are not working in Ukraine for 3.5 years. So let's be realistic. Russians aren't suffering, and they always have a way to stop it, to return back to normal by leaving Ukraine. So for a couple of weeks or maybe even months already, airports in St. Petersburg, in Moscow, in Krasnodar, Tula, many more Russian cities are constantly closed, and they have to invest a lot of money in, covering the losses, giving people food, hiring hotels, and we are already talking about dozens, if not hundreds of thousands of Russian passengers. And this is a message they get, that like not everything is the way they speak on the news. But this hackers' attack on Aeroflot is very big. Perhaps one of the largest ever subscribed to witness as the problems unfold inside Russia, and all with this pinch of Ukrainian creativity. We paralyze their airports with inexpensive drones. We destroy their cruise missile carriers with inexpensive drones. And with patient hackers' attack that lasted for a year, we managed to destroy 7,000 servers of Aeroflot. They have worked with different kinds of information, very sensitive. They managed to get access to personal computers of thousands of workers. They have collected data, maybe about the state of their aircraft. They have collected various recorded conversations, and all of that was erased forever for the Kremlin. But what is interesting, these groups of hackers, Silent Crow and some Cyberpartisans, they are reporting about some interesting facts that they will expose online. And I'm looking forward to read that, because maybe we will know more about the state of the Russian aviation in general. What is interesting, they somehow managed to get in Aeroflot system with the help of a password that their head was using, and he didn't change it for 3 years. Like every more or less media literate person knows that you have to change your password. It has to be very complex. Plus, to tell you the truth, like we all have this 2-level, 3-level identification, verification involving a lot of steps, but not when you are a Russian head of Aeroflot. Just imagine the level of their negligence. And here I come to this pathetic speech, or tweet of the so-called President Medvedev. Well, maybe some of you forgot him because we clean our memory from some evil things, but he is a pathetic character of the modern Russian life. He was a substitute for Putin for a short period of time. He's really short. Shorter than Putin. That's perhaps Putin chose him. And he was definitely a fake president. He was just letting this break before Putin changed the constitution to stay as the dictator of Russia for as long as it takes us to take him. And Medvedev is constantly drunk, or he's using something else. And he typically writes nonsense with lots of exclamatory marks and aggression, but in Russia, everything becomes public with the blessing of the Kremlin. So he is like this jester, like a clown that actually speaks what the Kremlin thinks. And he overreacted to the message of Donald Trump, who after the meeting with the EU leaders started saying that 50 days is too long, and it's pretty obvious that Putin does not listen to him, and in general Trump is very dissatisfied. What a surprising shift. Let me know in the comments below. How do you think? Can we trust these words of Donald Trump? I know in general we cannot, but I mean, something has changed. Maybe European Union money, because it seems like this deal is really good for the people of America. Or I personally believe that it's possible that Putin overplayed himself. That's very typical for Russians. Honestly, after the annexation of Crimea, Donetsk and Luhansk, the world has, we say, swallowed the fact, and everything was almost okay for Russia. And then he decided he can get Ukraine in 3 weeks, and he began his blitzkrieg, and he failed. And that is the moment when he overestimated everything and traditionally underestimated Ukraine. So it can actually be very real that Trump was friends with him, that Trump loved him, but Putin overplayed himself. Like, it was wiser to pretend and to keep doing bad things, but he decided to humiliate these efforts of Trump. I'm not saying that Trump cares for Ukraine, I know he doesn't, but he just realized that he looks bad, that he doesn't look like this alpha as he wants, because Putin kept bombing us, severely bombing us, hours after these conversations, with a greater number of drones and missiles, demonstrating this escalation openly. So maybe that's what triggered him. I don't know. But President Medvedev kept saying that Russia is not Iran or Israel, it's so big. And here we come to the most important conclusion of this video. Guys, you don't have to, like, I don't know, target all of Russia, plus we only choose legitimate targets, military targets. You don't have to occupy the territory in the 21st century war. All you have to do is to paralyze various important spheres of life there. That's exactly what they want to do in Ukraine by targeting us every night. But we choose a smarter strategy, a more logical and humane, and I believe more effective. First, we burn their oil refineries, and Russia is a country that gets everything only from selling its resources. Then we demilitarize their arsenals, saving lots of innocent lives, and maybe not only in Ukraine. And now, I just love this strategy. We paralyze airlines. We close their airports. We may say that in this European part of Russia that is part of Russia where decisions are made, the only part of Russia that Putin cares about, he's extremely chauvinistic, but they cannot fly. They cannot travel, they cannot communicate properly. And with this tremendous attack on Aeroflot, I'm not sure they will be able to recover. Not only physically, I mean, they have old, outdated aircraft that they cannot maintain, and even the stolen Boeings do not save the situation. But now they don't have any like data, any programs, any servers that were helping them, I don't know, track things. And this is a huge blow also in their image, because come on, if you have an old password and hackers are able to stay for a year in your system collecting everything they need, do not describe yourself as a strong military country. And it's good that even Trump started mocking them, and we will see what comes next. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Remember to check my new video on my new channel, where we speak about, you know, the so-called great Russian culture and how actually Russians use that literature to whitewash the imperial nature of their modern worldview. And follow me on X, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, all the links in the description of this video, same as a link to our merch shop. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel, but most importantly, thank you for standing with Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!